Well, what a day, folks. What a day it is. That's right. With my Whataburger edition hat, we've got some interesting news to talk about. A reinvigoration of the talks with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Astros. How substantial are they? What does that mean for this club going forward? Let's talk about it right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
Hey, everybody, and welcome into a special Saturday edition of Locked On Astros. I'm your guy, H-Town Wheelhouse, and if you saw the short that Eric the Man Heisman dropped from New York City, downtown, like big time. The dude's on Broadway. He's seeing the Empire State Building. He's visiting the Statue of Liberty, and he's donning his Astros cap. So what a brave soul he is. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know me, H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Stros411. That's Stros with the Z on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X as well. And Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on iHeartRadio, and on YouTube, where, look, I'm always positive, always Stros. The Houston Astros have played a couple games before we get to the Aarenado situation or brewing circumstance. I did see today that Brice Matthews, in one of the games he played in today, hit a double 110 miles an hour off the bat. That was nice to see against the Mets. The Astros did drop both games, 6-3 to the Nationals and 6-2 to the New York Mets, but we're not necessarily looking at wins and losses. We're looking at how guys perform overall. When you're looking at hitters, you're not necessarily looking at average. You're looking at when they make contact with the ball, like Brice Matthews. Is the ball flying off the bat? Are they making solid contact? Heck, in the game against the Mets, Juan Soto's first at bat was a solo shot. Imagine the $760 million man hitting a home run in his first at bat in spring. It just seems too appropriate, right? But if you look at the Astros that played in Port St. Lucie, you did have Brice Matthews going 1-for-3 playing second. Cesar Salazar going 1-for-3 playing catcher. Ochoa Jr. going 1-for-1. Guillaume, who played first base, 1-for-1. So they only scratched across 4 hits. Colton Gordon had 1.1 innings pitched. He had 3 earned runs, 1 strikeout, gave up the 1 home run to Juan Soto, but some really decent outings. Uola, 1 inning pitched, 2 Ks, 2 walks. Tamarez, 2 Ks in 1 inning. And Aaron Brown, not Hunter Brown, Aaron Brown, a 5th-round pick who I thought may touch the major leagues by now, but he has some promise. One of the more under-talked about, underappreciated arms in the farm system. 2 innings today, 1 hit, 2 Ks, and only 1 walk. So, look, you got guys that went out there. You got Gordon that gave up 3 runs. Wyman gave up 2 runs. But this is the first taste of spring training and the other spring training game. And let me get to this because I think these are things that we know for sure. You had Dubon, McCormick, Singleton, Caratini, DeCinzo, Myers, Whitcomb, and Hamilton. And then you had Guillorme as well. Well, you only had 2 hits today. You had a hit by Barber, and then you had a hit by Quincy Hamilton. So the Astros offense didn't look great today, but again, we're not too worried about it. Ryan Gusto did have a great 2-inning start, 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. You love to see that. They collected 4 other strikeouts between Walter, Hernandez, Dombrowski, and Mancini. Mancini took the loss. So the Astros played the Nationals again. They lost 6-3. Again, they lost 6-2 to the Mets. But nobody cares about who wins spring training. So let's get to the lead story. Enough of burying the lead with Nolan Arenado. I'll answer some of y'all's questions about Gusto and Matthews and stuff later. But Nolan Arenado is a guy that we know has gold gloves. He's an all-star. He is a potential Hall of Famer. And he's a guy that's towards the end of his career. He also is a guy that has $70+ million coming to him in the next 3 seasons. So when the Astros are talking about trading for someone like this, you've got to wonder what it is they're willing to trade, what it is they're willing to take on or not take on. But some little nuggets of what happened before, because I see a lot of people going, oh, well, he's already declared the Astros as cheaters and he doesn't want to be traded here. And we've already asked him and he said no. Well, things can change. When someone's out of work, especially a baseball player, they can change their mind real quick. Aarenado, who nixed the trade to Houston in December, could now be willing to waive his no trade clause and join the Houston team since they've added Christian Walker. Okay. This is another fact about this. Back in December, the Cardinals were willing to send $15 to $20 million to the Astros as part of the deal to help pay down Arenado's salary. Okay. So listen to this. Of the money owed to him, he is set to earn $74 million over the next 3 years through the Rockies, who are on the hook for $10 million as they're part of the 2021 trade, and then other monies by the Cardinals. And part of the reason Arenado had a reluctance to come to Houston in December, according to a source through Ryan McTaggart, said that the Astros traded Tucker to the Cubs. Now, they traded Tucker to the Cubs, but the addition of Walker signals that Houston is still looking to win. So what that says to me is Arenado didn't like the moves that Houston was making because he felt like they were making themselves weaker. But then when they got someone like Christian Walker, now they got Isaac Paredes, they're like, these guys want to win. And what is one of the things that a player wants to do in every sport? They have goals, right? And so this is what Arenado said. He says, I've got goals, and I truly feel in my heart I can achieve all of them. I think about the Hall of Fame, and I would love to accomplish that. He also wants to win a ring. He has not won a ring, and he would like that to be a part of his history. And the president of the St. Louis Cardinals had some interesting things to say. He said, as we think about resetting the roster, he does make us a better team if he's Nolan and if he's happy. And I like that he does seem to be motivated to want to be good. I can candidly say, of all the trade conversations I've been in, and Arenado bounce back year is what scares me the most. I think great players have that extra gear when they find it, and he can absolutely find that. So do we kick the tires on this? If we do, what does it cost? Does it take a Brice Matthews? Does it take Zach DeCenzo? Does it take Lance McCullers Jr.? Are they going to want a Colton Gordon, a Ryan Gusto, a AJ Blueball? I mean, what are they going to want? Hey, what's up, David Castillo? How you doing, sir? Thank you all for tuning in. I see a lot of y'all asking about Verdugo. Look, I think Verdugo would be a very good outfielder. I think Verdugo would be a good fit for this club because he wouldn't be on here to be a major player or be a mainstay star in this lineup. He would just be someone to extend it. So now the problem or the discussion has to be for the Astros. If we take on, let's say, 50 million of his 74 million, and we put that over the next 3 years, and it's paid down, 20 million of that is paid for by the Cardinals. You got 10 or 14 being paid by, Colorado. Does the value of that and what we have to give up give us something solid at third base the next 3 years? Isaac Paredes to second and Jose Altuve to left. And I'll talk about solidifying Jose Altuve here in a second after we talk about our sponsor. And our sponsor today is going to be FanDuel. And let's talk about them real quick. That's right. When the game tips off and the NBA action is getting started, there's no better place to get in on the FanDuel action than with America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, You can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team in a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. So right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot on $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment yours with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. And I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. Make sure you make us your first listen. Make Locked On MLB your second listen. Well, Johnny, I would love to stop the advertisements, but that is what pays the bills. So, Johnny, I do apologize. It is just a necessary thing, and we love our sponsors, so we're going to talk about them. So, going forward, solidifying Jose Altuve in left field. Listening to a interview by a Venezuelan TV outlet, I translated part of the conversation. I had my girlfriend translate the other part of the conversation because I didn't fully understand everything he was saying. And from what Jose Altuve was telling the Venezuelan station is, I'm going to be a left fielder. I'm embracing left field. It is going to be new. The paths to the ball are going to be different, gauging the wind and everything. And the reason why I feel comfortable at home is because I don't have to deal with the sun. I don't have to deal with the wind. So I'm thinking you're going to see, Jose Altuve come in and play a lot at Minute Maid Park and also play a lot where they have dome stadiums. Oh, okay. Let me pause here. Okay. I see what Linda and everyone's talking about. Yes, that is a setting that I can probably change. So I do apologize if you're getting interrupted by commercials. I can probably change that for y'all. That is something on me. I forgot to click something off. I can control that. I'll make sure that doesn't happen next time because we don't want you, the customers, and you, the fans, to be upset. We want you to enjoy this experience. So I do apologize if the commercials are coming in at random times. Nolan Arenado, to me, solidifies Altuve to left field. He's willing to move. He's willing to extend his career. And he actually said in this interview, I feel like I'm probably going to be playing there the next 5 years. He's 35, folks. He's planning on playing until he's 40. He signed through 39. He's probably going to play till 40. I bet he stays on until he gets that 3,000th hit. Because if I were to put money on it right now, I would put my money on Jose getting to 3,000 hits. Now, so Romano Jr. Ramirez brings in some good and interesting, and I believe this is probably from Baseball Trade Values. He said, I just made a trade for Aarenado, 2 prospects with around 1.5 value, 3.5 total, and Aarenado is a minus 16.6 value plus 20 cash, fair trade. Look, the cash involved, the money you have to pay him involved automatically knocks down what you can give up. If let's say Nolan Arenado was 32 years old and he had 3 years left on a 6-year deal. If he was just out of a Gold Glove year and he had an up year, he had a top 5 MVP candidacy, you're going to have to give away a ton of stuff. But I think with the age that he is, with what he did last year, he's due for a bounce back year. He's a perennial all-star. And I don't think it's going to cost us as much as we think. So we'll have to see. But I think this solidifies Jose Altuve to left field. I'm officially on board with it. And one of the key factors is because the Cardinals, again, are willing to take on $15 to $20 million in salary. Cody asked, will me and Mike Stanton be covering spring training? Yes, Mike Stanton and I will be doing our first spring training episode coming up this next week. So you have to check that out. Tej brings up a good point. Altuve does not have an arm to play left field. We are going to be giving away a lot of runs, advancing runners on fly balls. That has been a discussion that has been ongoing, and Jose Altuve, I believe, is well aware of that. The Astros are well aware of that. That's why when we talked about Joe Espada discussing Jose Altuve going to left field, he said, we've got to teach Altuve when to run in, when not to run in, how far left to go. And at the end of the day, he may not be able to make all those throws. They're going to have to work out the cutoff man situation. Look, I think the discussion at the beginning was flawed because maybe I didn't fully understand where Altuve was and where the Astros were. Because if his defense isn't great at second, how is it going to be great in left field? And I think that's where a lot of you guys and girls are, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm pretty sure that you are thinking that. Now, someone says we're worried about the wrong things. I think the thing that I'm worried about most with Nolan Arenado coming to Houston is the money part. And even if the Cardinals are willing to take on money in the trade, the Astros are strapped to a contract at the end of a career for an aging major league player. So if we saw the decline coming in Bregman and we weren't willing to go over what we offered him, what does that say about us willing to pay someone like Nolan Arenado? Here's the thing. And this point was made earlier. I was talking with someone on X. The Astros and Cardinals had a deal in place. It just didn't go through because Nolan Arenado rejected it. So if that's the same deal still in place, which we don't know what it is, then I think you have an easier path to a trade with Nolan Arenado than not, okay? So my prediction is this. Someone said arm strength is overrated. Dude, get a clue. I don't know if I'm the dude or someone else is the dude. Look, here's the deal. Let's focus, everybody. I'm going to predict that the Houston Astros, if the Cardinals come back to the table with the Astros, which we don't know they've officially done, but we know they've re-engaged in talking. Re-engaged in talking can simply be somebody taking their phone saying, look, we know Nolan's sitting on the sideline there in spring training. He's not even there. I don't know if y'all talked to him, but we need to see if he's willing to come to Houston. And if he's willing to come to Houston, are you guys interested in the trade? And the Cardinals respond, of course we're interested in the trade. We just have to get Nolan to the table. That could be talks reinvigorated. Talks reinvigorated could be, hey guys, we're checking in on Nolan and let him know that we're thinking about him, something like that. And so we have to take all this with a grain of salt, but it's worth talking about. Not only that, we got a little mini chat about the two games. We got to tell you about Brice Matthews hitting a double, 110 miles an hour off the bat. But my prediction is this. If that deal that the Astros were going to make with Nolan Arenado that was originally on the table is still there, then I think the Astros make the trade and Nolan Arenado comes to Houston. I've been wrong. I don't do very well predicting these things because it is very hard to know what's going on when you are not the people making these negotiations. I mean, we didn't hear about this till after Alex Bregman gave the Boston Red Sox a 12-question questionnaire and said it was depending on how they answered that questionnaire is why he decided to go or not to go to Boston. We didn't know that. When I saw a picture of Alex Bregman and Walker Buehler standing next to each other, I'm like, that's a part of Alex Bregman we're going to miss. So if we bring in Nolan Arenado, who's a perennial all-star, who's a potential future Hall of Famer, who's a Gold Glove winner, all these things, does he come here and get his first ring? And if he comes here, what does that mean for next year in the deals we make and the people we sign? If Nolan comes here, does that knock out Framber Valdez as being re-signed here with the Houston Astros? So everything is a domino effect. And no, Yordan Alvarez does not have a weak arm from the outfield. He has an absolute cannon, but I digress. Sorry, I had to defend my guy Yordan. So I think if Nolan Arenado comes in and he is a part of this lineup, you have 1 through 7 that are absolutely stellar. You have Altuve, Alvarez, Diaz in no particular order, Pena, Walker, Paredes, and Nolan Arenado. And then you've got Chaz and Jake. Chaz is claiming he's fixed his swing. I saw Jake strike out today. Look, I know it's his first at bat at spring training, but he looked like nothing's changed with Jake. Swinging at stuff outside. And I don't know. Like I never want to accuse a professional athlete of not putting forth effort like a baseball player because they strike out. But all his strikeouts look the same. I mean, you know what pitch to throw him on the when he has 2-strike count. It's down and away, off the plate, not even over the plate. He's going to swing at it every single time. He can't hold back. Some of these guys just play real baseball and swing like I swing on the baseball games. That's why I don't play NBA 2K or MLB The Show and all that stuff, because I just don't. I think every ball comes out of the pitcher's hand is a strike. And so at the end of the day, I think the Astros make this trade if the original trade on the table and Nolan lifts his no trade clause happens. If it's something else or the Cardinals come back and say they want more, I think the Astros nix it and they move on. But you have to ask yourself, if you're the Astros, are you willing to take on this money for another aging player, especially after what you saw what happened to Jose Abreu? But I'll end with this. I think Nolan Arenado is way better than Jose Abreu over the longevity of their career. And I believe if the Cardinals president is saying he's going to have a bounce back year, and if he does, we're going to be upset about it when he leaves, I think that's something to think about. So thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You guys are the best. Thank y'all for interacting. And again, I must have hit something. I'll have to go back and check my settings. I hope that too many of y'all were not interrupted by random advertising. That's not our goal. Our goal is and hey, guess what? Eric the Man Heisman is in New York. That's right. Hey, Eric, give him hell in New York. Go to Monument Park at Yankee Stadium and yell, "Who's your daddy?" or something like that. That'll be fun. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for tuning in. 255 of y'all. Y'all are great. This is amazing. Baseball is back. What a day. Thank y'all for showing up. Y'all are the best. Let's go.